Okay. Bonsoir tout le monde. Ani, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our meeting of our regular council. But before we start the meeting, I wanted to do a presentation. As council knows, and members of the public, our wonderful Carly is expecting a child in about a month from now, and we'll be going on mat leave at the end of this month. So I'm not quite sure who's going to tell me not to touch any buttons. But council, I know Carly, you're on, and Narak for you as well. And council did get together and prepared a special gift for you. So Mel is just bringing it in because it's big. So Carly, on behalf of council and Narak, we're presenting you this shower cake that's made out of baby diapers. Was created by my daughter-in-law, Sherry. I'm very appreciative, considering I only gave her 2 days to do it. And we wish both you and Narak all the best, and hope that that baby boy is going to be born around May 15th, because that's my birthday. And a good Taurus, another Taurus in this world is probably a good thing. So when you do come to the office, Carly, you can pick this up and enjoy it. Have a great maternity leave, and we will certainly miss you.
There's gifts all around it.
Yep. So cool.
All right.
Okay. I'll just close this. Thanks, Mel. That's why I had the white thing on. So I'm just waiting for Mel to get back into her office, and then we can adopt the agenda. So as soon as I see her reappear, we will get into the formal. Oh, there she is. Poof. Is Bob around?
Yep.
Nope.
Okay. So, all right. Okay, so I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda. Randy and Dave. There is an addition to the agenda, and I'd like to add 5.3.4, which will be a report from the Environmental Committee. The Environmental Committee met last week, and Councillor Randy will be giving a brief report at that time. So I need approval for the addition.
Yes.
Moved and seconded. Thank you. Renee and Dean, sorry.
No, that's fine.
All those in favor of the addition? Thank you. And I have already a mover and a seconder for the agenda as amended. All those in favor? Thank you. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest tonight? Seeing none. There are no delegations tonight, though just to give members of the public a heads up, we do have a special presentation later on tonight with regards to the beach. So let's get into our reports. 5.1 under general government. So Mark, could you give us an update, a COVID-19 update?
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor, thank you very much. It'll be two-part, as with the announcements that were made last Friday by the province escalating the stay-at-home measures. It has affected some of our operational decisions and what we're doing. So first and foremost, we have closed the front counter at the municipal office as of last Monday, and we encourage people to use the alternative methods to pay their invoices and bills, and to please communicate if these methods are not sort of meet what your requirement, as a last resort, to communicate with the office to schedule appointments. In terms of other operations, we have stepped up our measures internally and created 2 different groups within the larger groups to be able to offset some of the scheduled work to protect the continuity of government services going forward should anything happen. We are meeting all the protocols and adhering to all the protocols, but it's just an additional extra measure. And finally, as was announced, a lot of the outdoor amenities were closed down initially on Friday. Some of those were reversed on Saturday. So as of Monday, our playgrounds remain open, although we still have to do our spring maintenance. We're a little bit ahead in terms of temperatures, although today was a little bit different. So we're still on track to try to do the maintenance on those facilities to get them open. The ball diamonds and other amenities, basketball courts in skateboard parks are still remain closed under the current orders. So that's about the update that I had for council in terms of operations. Moving on to vaccines, a couple of changes. As you are all aware, AstraZeneca now being delivered through pharmacies are for open to the ages of 40 and over. In Sudbury, there are 3 pharmacies that are open to book appointments, and you can find those pharmacies listed on the provincial COVID-19 website. Our regular vaccine clinics continue to operate on a weekly basis. Tomorrow's vaccine clinic in St. Charles and our Albin clinic next week on the 29th, and we'll be alternating back and forth for the time being until at least May 20th. We are expecting and have confirmed dosages of about 360 per clinic at this point in time. And last week's clinic in Albin was fully booked, and actually an additional 94 vaccines were brought in and used. And the clinic tomorrow in St. Charles is booked as well. As we're moving through phase 2 of the various groups, so we are still at 60 and over and continue to take those bookings. We are also now preparing for the high-risk individuals, and I would recommend, again, visit the COVID-19 website at the provincial, which identifies the high-risk people with diseases and who would qualify. The other thing I'd like to stipulate, if you're booking under that arrangement, rather than using the provincial system online to communicate with the Sudbury 800 numbers for registration to be able to answer those questions, as there are criteria that you need to meet to be able to qualify for your appointment. And as we move through phase 2, the first phase of people not being able to work from home will be rolled out, and that should take place in and around mid-May, of which police officers, our bylaw enforcement officers, fire departments and teachers will all be open to be able to book their vaccines from that point in time. Other than that, that's basically the update I have at this point for council. I know it's a lot of information. The websites, both at the municipal level, at the provincial level, and at the public health unit, have all of this information readily available. And please, if there's any questions, don't hesitate to communicate.
Thank you. Any questions for Mark? Renee?
Just a quick question. So even though now the shots are being made available at the pharmacies, are we still going to continue down the road with the shots through the health unit here in our areas until we reach everybody?
Through you, Madam Mayor, there's no plans to eliminate our local vaccine clinics or mass vaccination clinics, of which Albin is considered to be one of. We're also in the process now, as people are leaving the clinic, they will be booking their second dosages, which is 4 months down the line as well. So that clinic will be going on for quite some time yet before we get everybody vaccinated.
Okay, thank you.
I think, if I may, Madam Mayor,
Yes.
as of April 15th, there was about 56,000 people within the Sudbury districts that have received their vaccinations, either first or second dosage. And we're hovering just above the provincial average in terms of our population being vaccinated to date.
That's good. The quicker we can get people vaccinated, the better. And the ones at the pharmacies are more of to help out the mass vaccination centers, to take some of the pressure off the mass vaccination centers. So hopefully, I understand though, for the pharmacies, the vaccine have not arrived yet. Am I correct?
The pharmacies are being, they're receiving their dosages directly from the province and not from the local health unit, so we don't have that data. I think the key message here, and thank you for everybody within our district that have taken the time to go get vaccinated, is please, even though you're vaccinated, please follow the protocols and mask in public and continue disinfection and be mindful at this point in time. That's the key message that the health unit and medical practitioners are still trying to promote. So if any assistance from council will be greatly appreciated.
Okay. Other questions or comments for Mark? Hi, Bob.
Hi, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I just want
comment and just a comment and congratulations to Mark and the whole team. I was lucky enough to get my shot last week, and when I got there, everything was so well organized. The people were friendly. It was easy to follow. I was in and out, I believe, in 40 minutes. So professional, so French River-like. Mark, great job, and please pass the word on. I was impressed, and a lot of people were impressed. And that's my comment.
Thank you. And Bob, you're absolutely right. I got mine too last week, and it was quite impressive to see that many people go through in a relatively quick manner, and the professionalism of everybody sure makes us proud. So, and it's been noticed. So our thanks certainly goes out to the staff and the volunteers.
If I may, and I'm there, I think it's important to note it's a combined effort between municipal staff, UNIV staff, health unit staff, the DSAT staff, the paramedics, and kudos out to our volunteers that do come to assist in trying to help people through the process. It's greatly appreciated, and it's a great community effort from all organizations.
And it's nice to see our firefighters and our bylaw officer out there staffing the parking lots and making sure everybody gets to the right place at the right time. So quite impressive. All right, let's move on to 5.1.2. The clerk, your department quarterly report. Mel?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So my report is included in the agenda package, highlighting some staff, but I would like to highlight one thing for council. During this quarter, the installation and the training was done for the audio and visual upgrades into the council chamber, and some upgrades to allow to socially distance. And so everything is ready. We're just waiting for restrictions to be lifted for indoor gatherings and or other restrictions to allow council to meet again in the council chamber. We did some testing today with Carly and Rock. It looks good. So it's going to be ready to go.
Yay.
So probably once we start, we're not going to be able to allow any public into the council chamber, but at least we'll be able to live stream from there.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing really that I'd like to highlight at this time. Are there any questions?
Randy?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. I just want to say that I know personally I'm looking forward to getting back into council chambers and being able to sit with the group of everybody here so that we can have a great debate in person. It's kind of difficult, obviously, on Zoom to get the feeling for a meeting, but I'm very positive and looking forward to the day when we can all get back together. My question for Mel is, I noticed the other day that I think the crew was out on this Highway 69 starting our entry sign. How do you know whereabouts they are in that process?
That would be a good question. I know Carly has been working on that project, but I'm sure Mark can report on it. But yes, they were scheduled to start.
Because I saw them drilling in the rock there, so.
Great.
So if I may, through you, Madam Mayor, yes, the good news is they started the project. So the pins have been installed, which was the first phase of the construction, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we did receive an update that work was completed and progressing very well. So we should see some activities within the next 2 or 3 weeks with that project coming to fruition.
Good. Randy?
Just a quick follow-up. Is the sign already produced and then going to be craned on site, or is it produced on site, Mark?
No, the sign was produced off-site at a manufacturing facility.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Other questions? Seeing none, let's move on to 5.2, finances. So before you, we have a resolution to adopt the tax ratio bylaws, and I see our treasurer's on. Welcome, Marc Fleury.
Thank you very much.
I will turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. So the bylaw 27 sets the tax ratios for 2021. The tax ratios are used to calculate the weighted assessment used for to calculate the property taxes. These ratios are the same as last year and the year before. So anyways, and it's due for a yearly resolution to adopt.
Okay. So I know we do have a resolution, so I'll need a mover and a seconder to adopt the resolution. I have Rick and Rennie.
Thank you. Duly moved and seconded. Be it resolved that bylaw 2021-27, being a bylaw to establish the tax ratios for the year 2021, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Let's move on to 5.2.2, and that's another resolution to adopt the final tax levy bylaw. Mark?
Again, thank you very much. Again, this is an annual bylaw that needs to be have a resolution to set the taxation final taxation for the year for 2021. For municipal purposes, the bylaw raises the levy of $5,097,166 as adopted in the budget for in March. And also we will levy education taxes of $1 million, $23,598. So for a total levy of $6,120,764. And you see the taxes mill rates that will be on the tax bills. You will note also a change that was adopted with the 2021 budget is the OPP fee. The OPP fee for the per household is $250.40, which is a reduction of a few dollars from previous years, about $4. And there's an assessment or a levy for of an OPP fee of $83.47 per vacant property. So the budget for OPP will be self-sufficient. It will be a zero base, so fully absorbed by the OPP levies. Also for the payment of taxes, again, it's the fourth Wednesday of the month of August. So August 25th, 2021 is 50% of the final levy, and September 22nd, 2021 is the balance of the final levy. And that's basically the what's worth noting on the tax bylaw.
Okay.
Yes.
Questions? I have Dean and I have Randy
Thank you,
Yes.
Madam Mayor.
and Renee.
I've just one question on the assessment of OPP fees on vacant property. Does that mean every vacant lot in all the subdivisions we have is going to get that assessment?
Yes.
Oh,
Every vacant lot that is assessed by MPAC. There's about 700 lots, give or take.
oh, that's going to raise quite a bit of money.
About $40-some thousand.
Okay, Randy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question mark was you may not know the answer, but maybe you can help us assess up the answer. The question is the education tax. We're collecting a little over $1 million from our citizens and sending it to the boards. Do we know how that money is flowing back to the education system here? Or is it proportionate? That's kind of my question to you.
It's proportionate to the school board ratios. So, well, it depends. For the residential, it's the residences. They nominate the school board that they want to send their taxes to. On the commercial side, it's there's a proportion of enrollment. So if you get $100, it's there's a proportion that is calculated by the province, and we pay according to that allotment. So Rainbow would get a portion, and the public separate French and English school boards. We don't know, the school boards manage those funds, so we don't know how much is spent in French River.
I was curious just what was flowing back into our schools here in our area versus what we send out. It would be an interesting thing.
I'm not sure if the school board can divulge that information. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm sure. That would be a good question, Randy, to call your trustee.
Yeah, perhaps.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's probably where that question can be answered. We're just sort of the education bank,
No,
Yeah.
collectors.
Yes.
no, I completely agree. It's just for the citizens' sake, they're collecting $1 million and are they getting
Yeah.
bang for their buck? But
Yeah.
I'll certainly ask the trustee the question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Renee, you're welcome.
Okay, so my question, not necessarily to Mark Fleury, but maybe Mark Gagnon can answer this. For the vacant properties, do vacant properties have 911 numbers? Mostly not, right?
Some do, some don't. They don't all have 911 numbers, no.
So can police be dispatched to vacant land that doesn't have a 911 number? Is my question. How do they identify these properties?
Cell, and if somebody's calling from a 911 number, they usually can give them sort of a location nearby or on which road or how many kilometers they're in terms of addressing that.
So moving forward, should we make all vacant land 911 numbers? Is my
The
question.
discussion we can have later on. It'd be
Okay.
700 signs would be quite the exercise. And do we need them in all locations? It'd be something that we have to look into and get back.
Okay, thank you.
Dean,
Back to my original question, it occurs to me that I'm wondering that 40,000 or 40 some thousand that we're raising from vacant properties, is that going to alleviate the amount that our citizens pay to the OPP, or is it go to the OPP?
it goes to the OPP, correct, Mark?
Yes, everything goes to the OPP
Mhm.
directly. Yes, it pays for the OPP fee. So there's less reliance on the general levy.
Oh,
The
well,
OPP, yeah.
well, that's what I meant. That's what I was asking. Does it alleviate some of the cost to all the rest of the taxpayers in terms of the OPP fees?
Indirectly, yes, yes.
Okay, okay.
So basically what Mark introduced this year is that the fees that are directly given to the municipality for OPP will be paid by those levies that we're collecting, both residential and vacant properties. And then anybody who puts an entrance within a vacant land has the ability to put a 911 sign as well.
Other questions? Then I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the resolution. Moved by Dean and seconded by Bob. Madam Clerk?
Duly moved and seconded, be resolved that bylaw 2028, being a bylaw to provide for the adoption for the current estimates and tax rates, and to further provide for penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for the year 2021, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. We have a quarterly report from the Finance Department. So Mark, perhaps a few highlights, and if there are questions.
Thank Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Highlights for the first quarter is that 2021 operating capital budgets were approved by council on March 17th. Second is the year-end audit is being for the year 2020 is being done as we speak, and we will get a report from the auditors with the draft financial statements for mid-May for the second council meeting of the month of May. A third point is the MPAC has again deferred this reassessment of properties. So we'll till 2022. So as you are aware, they were supposed to, the 4 year, they're supposed to reassess every 4 years, and they deferred because of COVID last year, and they're deferring again because of COVID for 2022. So the properties are still going to be evaluated or assessed based on the 2016 values. Also, for the following the budget, we got confirmation of additional funding and the COVID recovery fund for municipalities in the amount of $78,535 to help offset additional operating cost pressures. So this is the third funding we received for COVID. We received another grant, inclusive community grant for $50,000 for the expansion of VA Trail. We also received a fire safety grant in the amount of $5,200 for fire department training initiatives. We received $5,000 for the final payment of the Ontario Cannabis Legalization Implementation Fund. We received a top-up for 2021 gas tax in the amount of $162,000 for capital roads projects. And also we received some funding from the Manitoulin Sudbury District Services Board for $21,780 to help fund the food bank initiatives and purchase a fridge and freezer for the food bank. In terms of the operating budgets, we just adopted the budget on mid-March. So right now for the Q1 results, they're in line with the budget and in line with last year generally. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask the questions.
Randy. Oh, you need to unmute, Randy.
My apologies to you, Madam Chair. So for the final payment on the Cannabis Legalization Implementation Fund, we don't have any activity at this point in the municipality that I'm aware of for the cannabis related policing, maybe perhaps. Is that money then being put aside in a reserve fund until such time that it's needed, or is it being implemented in some way currently?
Mark?
Right now, I have to discuss with Mark Gagnon this initiative because it was before my time, but I believe it's going to be just booked in the operating budget, like in the previous years.
Yeah, so there's currently no initiatives underway related to it. It's just being reserved.
Yeah, just being recorded in the funding for this year.
Thank you.
I think I had Rick. Did you have your hand up? Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
Through you. My question is more of a general question than somebody was asking me this the other day. So not to pick on recent events in the area, but what kind of a practice do we have with regard, so it's a two-part question. So what kind of practice do we have to divide so let's say we get a grant or anything for specific reasons. So what practice do we have that we allocate those monies for exactly those purposes? And the second part of that question is, do we ever borrow money from let's say one area of that money to use it for general stuff? And I believe that you can borrow money from one pot, but as long as it's being put back. But of course, this sort of stems from the Laurentian experience. Excuse that. So, and that question was raised to me the other day.
So, first of all, the operations of the municipalities separated between operations and projects. Every time there's a new project like this, there's this COVID recovery fund for $78,000, there's a specific budget that's created. So we allocate those funds to a specific budget and only the specific expenses relating to that project are recorded in that budget. So there's no general pot. Everything's put in the same pot. Everything's allocated, recorded separately, and tracked separately. And we get daily reports produced, and I look at those reports every day, and I also help the managers manage those funds. We don't because we have reserves. We don't need to borrow from one pot to pay for another pot. We don't. We have a budget that's balanced, and we stick with that budget. So if there's any deficiency in one budget, it needs to be addressed with the manager, and we have to cut somewhere else within that budget. So it's managed internally. So these are so that it doesn't impact the future years of the municipality.
All right, thank you. I knew the answer, but I wanted to be clear, so that
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mark Gagnon, did you have your hand up, or am I seeing things?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor. The
Okay.
treasurer responded exactly the right way.
All right. Any other questions for our treasurer? Seeing none, we'll move on to Public Works and Environmental Services. So we'll have Martin address Public Works, and then Kevin, the Environmental Services. So maybe we'll start with you, Martin.
Good evening, everyone. So we'll go over the Public Works quarterly report. I'm assuming everybody had a chance to go through. So we'll start off with our road closures. No road closures as of yet. That's a good thing. Vehicle breakdowns. We have a few breakdowns that are way more than average. We have our old 92 Champion grader that's been down for 17 days. Oh, I'm sorry. Randy, you have a question.
I was going to catch you after. Go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead and do your presentation, Martin, and then I'll recognize the speakers after.
Perfect. So our old Champion has been down a few days in the first quarter, and it was down a few days in this quarter as well. It's getting up there in mileage. The old garbage truck down one day, not too bad. The new garbage truck down a lot, as usual. Typical problems with the garbage, just typically down because of the compressor in the back, and it's a workaholic. We put it to work every day. Our Freightliner truck down 3 days for regular maintenance. Our older Freightliner dump truck, the 2012, was down 33 days. That was because we had a tire blowout at the beginning of January. We had some damage to the cab, and it was down for basically a month. It's now up and running and good to go. 2018 Case Tobacco, just a couple days maintenance here, there, hose leaks and stuff like that. The CAT compactor, that's the landfill compactor. Kevin could talk more about that. I don't know the situation of the compactor. The 2012 Ford F-150, which is the old bylaw truck, was down for a few days for mechanical issues. Going to legal minimum maintenance standards, flood control. So flood control is water over roads or culverts being steamed. So we had roughly, I believe, 9 culverts steamed, and we had a bit of water that we had to take care of during the spring thaw. 4 washouts. So that's when we have to go out and physically repair a road that was washed out due to either beaver dams or harsh water, lots of rain. In the first quarter, we had 8 snow plowing and sanding events. So that's when we had to ship the guys out early in the morning, or when we had a full squad go out. 15 days of sanding. So that would be just typical, your typical Friday, sand everything down for the weekend. We've erected 4 signs the first quarter. They were, I believe they were all snowmobile signs. So for the snowmobile department, snowmobile club. Environmental events, combined snow plow standing network 3. Oh, sorry, my bad. I misinterpreted that. We had 3 events and 8 events for snow plowing that we went out during the day. We had a couple of the trucks go out here and there. Environmental events, rain and wind, 0. Request for service inquiries, 72. We do get lots of calls. As you can tell from last year, we had 272. So we seem to be on pace for that. Contracted services, streetlights, 2 streetlights were out. Streetlights back operational. We had the contractor go out, fix them. Roadside operations, we hired 2 trappers. We've had removed 8 beavers in the last quarter. We didn't remove any beaver dams. We had no washouts, or sorry, not washouts. We had no flooding, no water on road, I should say. And sidewalk maintenance, snow removal, that's basically for Noelville when we do the snow lifts in town. So we had done that once last quarter, and we did it once the year before as well. So our big highlights was our snow removal. We pushed back the banks again first quarter. I know there's no snow anymore, but we had some. Spring culvert steaming. We got our Capital Roads project ready to go, so that's just waiting to be put out. Our truck 1 had our tire blowout, and half loads have been installed since March 11th. So depending on how the weather goes, we're hoping to be done by early June, mid-June, but that's where that stands.
Okay, thank you, Martin. Randy, you had a question?
Yes, to you, Madam Mayor. I was going to just ask you to speak to the mass amount of hours of breakdowns of equipment. What do you feel is the cause of the ongoing and large numbers of breakdowns that we see here? And also the question I have is, what is the complement of our mechanical staff at this point? How many mechanics do we have on duty? I don't know.
We have 1 full-time mechanic on duty. We have most of the guys are mechanically inclined, and they'll help out the mechanic when they can. But we have somewhere along the lines of 25 pieces of equipment with 1 mechanic. So sometimes he does get bogged down. As for the pieces of equipment, so a lot of the equipment that has 3 days down and stuff, that's just typical hydraulic line blew, or a tire went out and we're just waiting on parts. It's not a big issue. When you're looking at the machines that have lots of days down, those are kind of get to the issues where, as I previously stated, the 92 Champion, it has its age. The Champion is actually older than I am, to show my age. So it does have lots of hours on it. I believe the transmission or the engine was rebuilt about 8-10 years ago. The engine's good, but everything else is starting to wear and tear. And our other machine that keeps breaking down is the garbage truck. And that's just due to, like I said before, overworking. It's on the road every day. The compactor gets broken, especially when we get inappropriate material being put into our garbage bins.
So, sorry, Matt. Sorry, Martin. So then my question would be, seeing as how some of the equipment is down for such a long time because the mechanic is so far backed up, would it not be maybe a good thing in the future to look at adding a second position so that the equipment has the ability to do the job it's intended to do rather than being in the shop quite so long?
I'll just clarify one quick thing. A couple of the machines that are down for a long period of time isn't necessarily because the mechanic can't get to them. It's because we're lacking the parts, which is a big thing.
Yep.
As for your question, I'm sure Mark could jump in on that.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Martin, for your report. So some of the things you have to take in consideration, the truck that was away or down for about a month was an insurance claim. So all of that was done by an external contractor. So although the initial evaluation was done by our mechanic, When there are bigger jobs, we do make use of contractors to repair equipment. So we have to look at those types of opportunities in terms of how we can best marriage a full-time licensed mechanic along with the cooperation of contractors to try to alleviate some of that workload. But as Martin specified, a lot of this, the general downtime, sometimes we're waiting for parts. And I've seen us wait for parts for the garbage truck for over 4 weeks. So that's not because we don't have the mechanic in place to be able to do the repairs. So it's a little bit of an interpretation, not just look at the total hours. There's interpretations to be had and explanations behind the details of it.
Sure. Would there be merit though in taking on an apprentice maybe at some point?
At this point, until we can look at the options in terms of making use of private contractors, listen, we just added some new staff now to assist within public works and environmental services. And when you add those types of people full-time, do you necessarily need 2,000 hours a year to do that work? Or can you marry it or combine it with private contractors to assist you in the times that are extremely maybe difficult? I'm not saying that they're difficult 12 months out of the year, but are there certain periods of time where we need to bring in the private sector to give us a hand? And those are things that I've already had discussions with Martin and Bob in terms of moving forward.
Because even seeing those additional bylaw officers are going to use the vehicles more, creating more work for the mechanics is too the other consideration, right?
All right,
Again, we have to live through the situation before we're looking at that.
Okay.
I have
Thank you.
Rick and then I have Dean. Go ahead, Rick.
Hi there. First, a comment. I mean, I think on the discussion for staff here, I think this should be left to the CEO's decision about what staff should be hired or not. I don't think it's much of a detailed discussion at the council table, although it's important information. But anyway, my question is more of a general question. Having gone through the winter that we've seen, I'm assuming we must have saved a lot of money in snow removal in comparison to the year before and what we had budgeted, and what would that be approximately?
Okay, who's going to take that one on? Mark Gagnon or Mark Fleury? Or Mark?
I would defer it to Mark Fleury.
Where'd he go? Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Okay.
I had to find the button, sorry. Yes, we paid less for sure. I don't have the figures in front of me, but I will certainly get the right figures and give them to you guys. But there was a savings for sure this Q1. Yes.
It was a kind winter this year, or kinder.
Yes.
I have Dean.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to ask about the CAT compactor being down for 67 days. That's over 2 months. And I'm wondering, do we have an alternative to do that compacting on the landfill when that machine is down for that period of time? Because it seems to me that that's a very important part of the finishing or working the landfill, is having that compactor there.
Well, bring this to Kevin.
Yeah, I was just going to go ahead, Kevin.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Winborn, yeah, so what happened was a back door that protects the engine came off, and it took a long time to get it in. That's all that was.
Oh.
Just COVID and everything else, parts are not coming in as quick, so we couldn't run the machine. And something would have came in and hit fuel lines or the motor or something, would have just been catastrophic. So we had to wait until that came in. And for your other question, in the winter months, it's not so bad because the waste is coming to us frozen. So the dozer will do a sufficient compacting in the winter months. So we weren't really concerned with that.
Okay. That answers my question. Thank you, Kevin.
Any other questions for Martin? Seeing none, we'll move on to the environmental services report. Kevin?
Through you, Madam Mayor. I'll just run through the key highlights of this quarter. Next one. We implemented public health regulations and standard COVID-19 protocols at the landfill sites so we can reinstate tipping fees. That started on March 8th. We had submission of our hazardous waste events for 2021 to the Ministry of Environment. And those dates are going to be May 29th and September 18th for the hazardous waste. Preparation for release of RFP for consulting of engineers. And we had 2 environmental advisory committee meetings on March 10th and April 14th. This quarter, we spent 32 hours, well, Public Works spent 32 hours removing bulk items from transfer sites. I know everybody's interested in that topic. Recycling to R&D, they got 58 tons and 25 tons were contaminated. That's 44% contamination rate. 290 tires were diverted and 2.275 tons of electronics. That's pretty much the highlights for our month there.
Any questions for Kevin with regards to the report? Seeing none, thank you, Kevin. Don't go too far.
No.
Okay, so before we get into the bylaws, we do have 5.3.2, a resolution to adopt a bylaw to approve the sewage services rates. So I need a mover and a seconder for this resolution, Dave, and need a seconder, Renee. Any discussion on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you. All right. Let's move on to a resolution to enter, to authorize staff to enter into a commercial waste collection services agreement with commercial establishments. So Kevin, to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So just a quick background, the municipality, we've been providing waste and recycling collection since 2003 to commercial establishments. In 2017, council directed us staff to establish a cost recovery user fee for waste collection services. To date, the municipality has not entered into any agreements so far. Recommendations from the waste collection review suggested that the municipality enhance collection programs to increase waste diversion and impose user fees for commercial establishments that represent actual costs for the waste collection. So for recommendations that council authorizes staff to enter into a waste collection service agreement as presented with each industrial and commercial establishment that are currently receiving waste collection services. So I think, has everyone went through the agreement? I'm just going to hit on some key highlights and why the main reasons why we're doing it.
Yeah.
It just puts on, sorry, Madam Mayor?
Nope, I was going to say, go ahead.
It just puts onus on the owner is responsible to ensure recycling and household waste are not mixed. The owners are responsible to make sure the bin is unobstructed because Public Works runs into that issue throughout the summer where there's cars parked in front and they can't get to the bin sites. They're agreeing to maintain that the bin or the bins they have are kept free of insects, vermin, large bulky items, and are safe for all the operators. And an agreement that they're going to promote some sort of recycling program and divert waste or divert recycling into the waste stream. That's pretty much the highlights of it.
I had Renee. Renee, did you have a question? And Randy.
So the only question I have is, I know some businesses have the bins already. What have we done throughout the years to get new businesses bins moving forward? Like I know for myself, I've been at the Esso for 12 years and never been approached about putting a bin for recycling or anything. We do recycle, but I mean, we are driving to the landfill site 5 days a week. So when, or are we going to be sending notices to businesses out there now? Like I know they did when they first came out, but we haven't continued on with this with the businesses. Will we be looking at something for new businesses that do start up in the area? Like if Romaco starts up in the future, will they be offered a bin? Those kind of questions, maybe Mark
Or Kevin or Mark?
or Kevin?
I can.
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to answer Councillor Carrier's question. So any business that has a bin, they purchased it themselves. So it was on them, but I think that this would be a good discussion for our environmental committee to continue on with it outside of the council. So we can bring up some sort of plan there.
Mhm. Yeah, because my understanding is that there's not any spare bins to be handed out. Am I correct? Mark?
Yeah, there's two things. One is the stock of bins that we currently have, and secondly, the resources that we have to expand that service. Right now, we're almost capped to the max in terms of what we can service at this point in time.
Mhm.
And as Kevin has mentioned to council, it's a point of discussion that the environmental committee will discuss going forward in terms of what do we do going forward.
Okay. Randy, I think you had your hand up, right?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. I thank you for the chance to speak. On behalf of the Environmental Committee, we've actually sort of discussed this issue a little bit in the past. And my question to Kevin is, what are we doing, or what should we be doing to ensure that businesses that don't wish to enter this agreement or pay to have their waste transferred by the municipality are doing so correctly? I mean, there's no teeth in this agreement to make some businesses that aren't paying for their waste at this point, and they're just depositing it in the bins and filling our bins quite quickly. And I believe that perhaps maybe we should look at ensuring that businesses have either third party manage their waste for them, or they enter the agreement with us, because this agreement doesn't do anything other than suggest.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Councillor Hazlitt, those are all great points. And for everyone, every business, and there are several that come to the landfill site, they are all screened and they sort their waste and recycling as they get there. There are some that do use the bins, I know that, but with our new, like once we are done the recommendations to council and we sort out the waste system, as you all know, the waste management bylaw is going to come into effect, and we're going to address those issues for no commercial establishments allowed to use our transfer site. So they will have to directly go to the landfill if they choose to bring it, or if they're going to hire a third party. But as Mark Gagnon was saying, I know Public Works there, they couldn't take on more businesses. There's no way. The days are full. They're just making it to the site on time as is. So, thank you.
Dave.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Just a question about what are the, I guess, laws on these bins put on commercial sites? Because I know we have to go through the ministry, and it's quite a lengthy procedure just to get even bins moved or anything like that. Does that apply to these commercial establishments?
Kevin?
Through you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Vio, I believe that it's private property. It's not being held on for a significant amount of time. Like there's regular pickup schedules, so they don't fall under the same jurisdiction as we do. We're taking in mass amounts of garbage. It is private, like a private business, and their own waste from their establishment, so they don't need to follow that.
So it's no different than just putting a regular garbage bin outside or something?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so Madam Clerk, did I get a mover and a seconder for this one?
No, not yet.
Not yet. So I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Bob and Dean.
It is duly moved and seconded. Be resolved that council authorizes the manager of environmental services, clerk, to enter into waste collection service agreements as presented with each industrial, commercial, and institutional establishments that are currently receiving waste collection services.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Thank you. So I see that the environmental committee is going to have a bit of work to do. Coming up.
We always do.
I know. Okay, let's go to 5.3.4, which is a report from the environmental committee. Councillor Randy, where'd you go?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we met on the 14th of April, the Environmental Committee, to review the proposal from the third-party waste collection review. I guess in 2020, we received funding from the provincial government to streamline and modernize processes. And the municipality and the council voted to dedicate the money to reviewing our waste management processes and better ways to save money and streamline. The review is completed. We received the review back with a bunch of recommendations. Those recommendations recently came before the Environmental Committee. And we came forward with 5 motions that we felt were the best place to start with this program, so we can implement things. So these recommendations we felt were how we wanted to move forward. We're now passing this on eventually to council, where they'll be debated and then put into effect. So I'm just going to cover quickly the 5 motions that we debated and decided upon. They were all approved. So the municipality, for number 1, to close Wolseley Bay transfer site to encourage residents of the Wolseley Bay area to use the landfill site. The bins are being used by West Nipissing residents, and the report felt that we were accepting outside waste and there was no way to control it, even though West Nipissing has curbside pickup. The cottagers and the folks there, it was reported that they were just, rather than leave their trash curbside, they'd rather take it to our bins and give it to us. The second recommendation is that the transfer sites at the public yard in Noelville should not be available for use during any hours that the landfill site is open, and this would be on a trial basis to gauge public reaction and to determine if this site should be permanently closed. The report goes on in detail to say that it's approximately 2 kilometers or so to the transfer site from Alvin, and we're moving garbage twice. So there's an expense to the municipality to move that garbage from that site to down the road. There will be an impact on Hoole Road, the dump road. And if I could, I would like to make a recommendation that the one-time gas tax top-up of $162,000 might be looked into improving Hoole Road, as it's going to be receiving a huge traffic influx, to make that road dust control and a little better. I believe a hard surface might be necessary. So number 3 is that council consider an RFP for a contractor to pick up recycling in the village of Noelville and the village of Alvin to determine the feasibility of recycling and pick up in the entire municipality. It was reported and generally thought that if a contractor picks up your recycling curbside, then we could work to eliminate the 44% contamination rate we've had this quarter. And it's usually been quite higher. That waste, that recycling, when it goes to North Bay and they reject it, then it's sent to West Nipissing's dump, and we're billed double basically for it. And it's a huge expense for contaminated recycling. And if the contractor driver picks it up curbside, he can sort and ensure that it's not contaminated when it's received. The number 4 is that the Alvin transfer site be monitored by an employee extensively on weekends, and if more is needed, and particularly during tourist season. We did have success with this sort of last fall, where we put somebody in place to monitor what was coming in and how it was being deposited. It helped clean up a lot of the debris that was being left around the bins, large items that don't belong there. We did see for a while, I think, a curb in our man hours for picking up oversized trash that was being left. And then the number 5, the final recommendation that in the short term we wanted that the report felt we should go ahead with, and we feel too, is that the municipality determine the cost to fence and equip the Elbin, Manettville, and Shaw Road transfer sites in order that short-term recommendations of the consultant might be considered in the near future. And by fencing the sites and controlling the hours at those sites, the report felt that unlimited access around the clock to the bins led to uncontrolled dumping and people not following the rules. We certainly discussed the fact that some consideration would have to be given to tourists heading home Sunday afternoons, and the length of time on Sunday when the bins in those sites would be made available. And generally, the staff will have to review these from here and see what's best practice to move forward. But it's definitely something that needs to be addressed in order to control some of the issues we've had in our landfill sites. So this is as we presented this to staff, and hopefully it will come to council before long, where we feel these are valuable points. So that's basically where we're at now. Thank you.
Okay, so councillors, all before you start asking questions, this is not today we're doing that. This is
Right.
only the chair of the environmental committee reporting. A full report will be coming to you for the May meeting. That will give you time to read the report, digest, but this is only for reporting purposes, okay? So no debating tonight, okay?
And council's already seen this report as it was presented, and then we digested and moved on the short-term goals. So
Yeah.
council already has an idea.
At the end of the day, in May, council will have to give direction to staff as to if we adopt one or all of the recommendations from the environmental committee, and give staff some directions on how to proceed. So hold your questions till you get a copy of the environmental committee's recommendations, and then we'll have a wonderful discussion on the first Wednesday of May, okay? All right, so now I'd like to move on to 5.4, Recreation and Community Service. Before you have a proposal for renaming the municipal beach in Albin, and I believe the Lamondain family is joining us. Mel? Oh,
Yes,
oh, there
we're
they are.
here.
Okay, great. Well, welcome, first of all. So just to give members of the public an idea what's happening here tonight, a couple years ago, when the new council came on board, there was a lot of requests that the municipality take over the beach. So with the assistance of staff, they looked into it. And the Knights of Columbus were the tenants of that, of the beach. It's owned by MNRF. And so discussions were held with the Knights of Columbus and the municipality to see whether or not they would transfer it over to us. And the Knights of Columbus gladly sent it our way, because they could no longer afford to pay the rental fee, as I would call it, to MNRF, as well as maintain it. And discussions were taking place, and much to my surprise and very happy, I was approached by Tammy and Suzanne through the Canada Foundation to see if through donations through the foundation, if A, the municipality would take it over, and B, that upgrades could be made so that we can provide a safe and enjoyable experience for all of our all of our citizens in the municipality of French River. And through matching funds as well. Again, last December, again, Canada Foundation was absolutely amazing and gave us some additional monies. We held a meeting with the recreational committee chair, Renee, and with the family. And because the donation is substantial and the work that's being done is just going to be amazing once we get over COVID, because we're not allowed to build anything or do anything right now, that it would be a good idea to recognize the beach by renaming it Parc Wally Lamondin Park. And I think it's a great tribute to their father and to Suzanne's husband, who passed away about 6-7 years ago, I would say, Suzanne, about that?
Yes.
Yes. And so because Wally, and the family will speak to it, was a great lover of the French Riviera, as he called it. So I think it's appropriate, and we've built a partnership with the Canada Foundation so that we can continue to better the beach for everybody to enjoy. So before you, we have a motion to change the name, the renaming of the beach to the Parc Wally Lamondin Park. And so before I call the vote, I think Councillor Randy, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say that this has been really a great effort by the Canada Foundation and the Lamondin family. We greatly appreciate your collaboration with the municipality. The beach is in my ward, in Ward 3. It's on Highway 69 in Albin, just outside of Albin. Sorry? 64.
Highway 64.
My apologies, Highway 64. And I really just, on behalf of the citizens, want to thank the family for their contributions to our community. And we look forward to hopefully having Wally's name put on the park, because I believe it's a great idea for your family.
Before I call for the resolution, any other councillors wish to say anything? If not, I need a mover in a sec. Oh, sorry, Councillor Dean and Councillor Renee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I can't resist sort of echoing the words that we've just heard from Randy. I think that a family like this who contributes so beneficially and so much to the assistance of the municipality with this park, it's just a wonderful thing. And the very least that we could do as a council is to acknowledge that with this naming of the park. And I'm delighted that we're doing this. And I'm even more delighted that we have a family that wants to participate like that with our community and our municipality. And I know I'm speaking for everyone. I said, thank you very much.
Councillor Renee?
Hi, good evening. Just wanted to say thank you to the Canada and to the whole family. I look forward to working with you guys on this project, the beach. I know a lot of people, it will be great for the community, for everybody involved. And I wish, like you said, Tammy and Sue, that your husband and your dad was here to see this. He'd be very thrilled. So I'm happy that we can help each other make this a reality. So thanks.
Thank you.
Having said this, I need a mover and a seconder to approve the changing. Randy, and seconded by Dave. All those in favor? Thank you. And now I did promise the Lamondin family that I would give you a few minutes to say something, and I'll start with you, Sue.
Madam Mayor and Council, for giving me the opportunity to address Council. I know that most of you did not know my husband, so I'd like to say a few words about Wally. Wally and I were married in the Alban Church and had our reception at the Casey Hall in Noelville. We lived in Alban for 3 years, during which time my oldest daughter was born. I was teaching here in Alban, and Wally worked for Inco, first in the housing department and then became a purchasing agent. We moved to Sudbury, but came back in '85 when we bought a cottage on Jean Street. That became our real home, a place where we spent our summers and numerous weekends. The French River area has always been rooted deeply in our family, and this is where we created our most cherished memories. Years ago, Wally started calling this area his French Riviera. Upon retiring, we traded our cottage for a home on the water. And as Wally so often said it, this is our home with its $1 million view. We did enjoy traveling, going to numerous destinations in the States, such as Florida, Colorado, where Tammy lives, and Hawaii. We also traveled to Europe as well as the Caribbean, but Wally was always in a hurry to get back home. Why do we have to go away when we have a place on the French Riviera with $1 million view? We are blessed to be able to enjoy the beauty and pleasures that the French Riviera has to offer, the French River. But not everyone in our community has a place on the water. This park will allow everyone in this municipality to take advantage of the serenity and numerous water activities that the French River has to offer. My daughters wanted to honor Wally's memory, and what better way to honor one's memory than by giving to others the opportunity to enjoy what Wally himself loved and cherished. People will be able to swim, have picnics, and go boating. This is our French River. People will be able to relax in the beauty which surrounds us. This is our $1 million view. To be able to honor Wally in such a way is amazing. And for this, I say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Suzanne. Tammy, I believe you.
Yes, I have a little something to say. So let me start off by saying that our family history is embedded in the French River area. My great-grandfather, Hormidas Lahaye, started a lumber business back in the 1930s. The lumber mill became a family endeavor, from my great-grandfather to my grandfather, Alan Lahaye, and then to my uncle Leo, and now, as you all know, Mike Lahaye. My husband, my children, and I absolutely love the French River area. We purchased land numerous years ago on the French River, and a few years back, we actually purchased a cottage on the French River. So the tradition continues on, as this cottage now has become the place where we as a family have also created and will cherish many more memories to come. My cottage is also right down the street from our previous camp where we used to go to as a family when I was a teenage girl. Wes and I are definitely committed to help beautify this community while seeing it prosper as well. This is why we've chosen to participate in the creation of the hatchery. That was a project that we contributed with Ron Garbett for a couple of years, and also the food bank. But now we have a very special project, a park that will be named in my father's memory. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. This is so special. I can't even tell you. All I can say is that I want it to be a park that everyone will remember and that everyone will come back to and visit. So Madam Mayor and all councillors, I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for making this happen. This is a dream come true. And thank you for making this reality come true.
Thank you, Tammy. Sherry?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have so many memories of my youth at our cottage on Jean Street. I would literally spend most of my time in or on the water. My parents called me their little fish. I can remember swimming, snorkeling, water skiing, kneeboarding, tubing, fishing. All of this was because of my dad. Those summers are so vivid in my mind. As we are carrying on these traditions and all things we do with our children on the French Riviera, all these summer activities and memories will always be with us. Our wish is that every child gets to experience such activities. The park will give them that opportunity. The park will have the Lamondin name, and we are so proud of this. My dad may no longer be with us physically, and he did not have boys to pass on the Lamondin name, although he would always call us his 3 boys. But his legacy will live on in his grandchildren and their children's children, with the strong morals and values he instilled in us. When they visit the park, they can be proud to say, come here, everyone. Go.
That's my grandpa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Oh, that's very nice. I have Tina.
Hi, everyone. My name is Christina. I am the middle child of Wally and Suzanne. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I was very lucky to have a father like Wally. My memories are filled with many activities, but the most memorable ones were those that we created on the French Riviera. He loved this place. We spent so much time at our camp on the French. Early memories of canoeing through the trees when the water was too high, going out for a row in what looked like a bathtub, snorkeling, camping on his favorite rock, visiting the rapids, barbecues, and fish fries. To more recent memories of kayaking, tubing, and his classic lunches on the pontoon in his favorite swimming area. He instilled a love for the French in us at a very young age. Sherry spends her summers with her family, enjoying the beauty of the French River. Tammy purchased her own place on the water to spend her summers with her family. I had a camp as well, and even delivered a few Zumba classes at the community center. My plan is to eventually move to the French River to be closer to my dad. My dad was talented. Not only could he sing like Elvis, but he taught himself how to play guitar and piano as well. The sound of his voice blended together with the beauty of the French was truly magical. I wish we had more time with him. I wish my kids could enjoy his laughter, his jokes, his music, his sense of humor. He would answer his phone with Old Man Lamondin from the French Riviera. That's how proud he was to live here. Now, thankfully, they get to visit a place and enjoy looking through the lens of his life. They say a life that touches others goes on to live forever. This naming of the park will ensure that. We as a family are deeply honored by Council's decision to name this park in my family's and my father's memory. He loved the French River, and it was an important part of his life. This memorial means that he will live on in a way that means a great deal to us. Thank you for your kindness in keeping him alive in our hearts and in our minds. Merci beaucoup, tout le monde.
Avec plaisir, avec plaisir. Well, for us at the municipality, as I said, it provides a great partnership for us to offer a safe place for young and old to enjoy the beauty of the French River. And I said it well, where not everybody's on the water, and now finally there's a public place where people can go and enjoy the beauty of the French River, which is what we're all about. So again, my deepest thanks to the Lamonde family for your continued support. We look forward to working with you to better the park. Every year we'll get better and better, and we'll be doing different things. And I'm looking forward to keeping in touch. And when COVID is over, I'm looking forward to the Monday night wing night at the Bow or at the Noelville restaurant, so that we can start talking about what we're going to be doing. So again, thank you for coming tonight. And again, thank you for your support.
Thank you
and you
very
can
much.
stay on and watch the rest of this exciting meeting, and and so that we can get some the rest of the agenda done. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. All right, council, we're going to 5.4.2, quarterly report. Mark, who's giving the quarterly report for this one? Oh, there's Bob. Bob's back. I forgot. Welcome back, Bob.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. So there's not much on the report since COVID happened. Minor hockey did not go back on the ice after December. The Rapids did play a bit. As you see, the numbers are way down compared to last year. The ice was taken out in early March. And the staff has been very busy with the vaccination clinic in Alban. So I don't know if you have any questions.
Any questions for Bob? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next one. 5.5, Emergency and Protection Services. Rock.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Quarterly report. In total, emergencies responded this quarter was 18. That's our average for the quarter. Burn permits, we are at 2 early buyers. That's great. Inspections and public education, we had 1 complaint. It was dealt with. It was a smoke complaint. A farmer was burning his field, and we were able to rectify with speaking with the farmer. As for our training, we were able to conduct our ice water rescue training before being placed under lockdown. So we had 5 training sessions, and most of our training right now is currently online. The average for firefighters responding is pretty much 13 during the day. So we're getting about 13 firefighters per call. Our calls are mostly during the day, during the busy hours, which is 45%. Then the rest is in the afternoon, where everybody's at home. Some of them is mostly burning during the day. And as for equipment check, we conducted 6, which we're using our COVID protocols and trying to keep our equipment up to par. Agreements, council adopted a new fire service agreement with Killarney, which we protect Parkley Bay Road. Recruitment, so we have 1 new recruit in Noelville and 1 new recruit in Alban. Update, 2 fines were handed under the open air burning bylaw. One was issued by the bylaw officer, Kevin. It was during the daytime, and 1 was issued by me and burning during the daytime. Update to the organization chart with the adding of new position of Assistant Fire Chief Training Officer. Next page, this position is actually will have no budget impact for the 2021, and his expected start date will be June 1st, 2021 or earlier. This is due to the closing of our fire college in Gravenhurst, which now we have to undertake more responsibilities and getting our guys trained in-house and a little bit quicker, and having, training on weekends and others days. Any questions?
Any questions for the fire chief? Randy.
You're muted, Randy.
you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Rock. A quick question about the new position. How do you find somebody with those skills? Seems like a pretty specialized job.
I've already found this person. He's actually coming back to us. He was a firefighter out in Callander. He has most of the qualification, and he has actually some good training etiquette, and has been in contact with a Southwest Fire Academy, which he has connections in that area.
Also, I want to say it's really great to see the two new recruits. We seem to be finally bolstering the ranks, and it's really nice to see the community volunteering.
Yes, we're at a total of 36 firefighters in total.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Other questions for Fire Chief? Seeing none, then we go to the resolution to purchase the battery-operated vehicle extraction tool. So I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Randy, seconded by Renee.
We skipped to one item.
Oh, what did I?
There. Yeah. So 5.5.2.
Fire trucks.
Oh, the fire truck. Oh, how can I forget the fire truck? Oh, God's sake, sorry. All right, let's go to the fire truck. So there is a resolution to award the purchase of the fire truck. Need a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Randy, seconded by Dave.
It's duly moved and seconded. Be it resolved, council approves that Commercial Emergency Equipment Co. be awarded the purchase of the mini pumper in the amount of $384,949 plus applicable taxes, and that will be funded in the 2022 capital budget. And the purchase of the tanker in the amount of $378,939 plus applicable taxes, and that one is to be funded in 2023 capital budget.
Any questions? Randy and Renee.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Rock, just a quick question. Is Pierce Fire Truck Company a Canadian company or an American company? And it's nice to see that we're making great use of the LES program to receive such great discounts on these.
Pierce Fire Trucks are actually an American company, but the emergency equipment is a Canadian company where we're purchasing through.
Okay.
Renee?
So just a question maybe Mark Gagnon could answer. We have reserves put away for some of these fire trucks, I believe, eh? Am I correct?
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes, you're correct. And as you noticed last year, we started bumping up some of those reserves in anticipation of these new purchases as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Are we pretty much according to budget what we thought this would cost? We're in the same ballpark, give or take?
Through you, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
Yes, we are on budget. The tanker actually was a little bit over by about $3,000. But with all the discounts with ALS, these trucks are going to be very well built for our roads, for our municipality, and it is custom built for us in French River.
And do we know approximately how long these vehicles will last, Rock, give or take?
So the mini pumper, it's an average lifespan of 20 years only.
Okay,
that's for the NFPA standards. Their lifespan is only 20 years for fire protection. And the tanker is 25, 30, 20 years, depending on the maintenance of the fire truck.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing no further questions, all those in favor? Thank you. And now we'll go back to what to the resolution for the battery operated vehicle extraction tool. Any questions regarding this purchase? Seeing none, I already have a mover and a seconder, right, Mel?
No, I'm sorry.
I had
No?
moved it. I
Yeah.
had moved it originally.
Oh, okay, I added that mover and seconder to the other resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put my name on it again.
Okay, put Randy back and Rick.
Thank you. So it is duly moved and seconded. Be it resolved that council awards the purchase of battery-operated vehicle extrication tools for the fire department to Code 4 Fire and Rescue Inc. in the amount of $43,485 plus applicable taxes.
Thank you. All those in favor?
I actually
yeah.
had a quick question. Sorry. Through you, Madam Mayor. Rock, the previous extraction equipment, do they go out of service the same as any standard for your equipment? And if so, what's done with the equipment? Because it's pretty specialized after it's used its life cycle.
Yeah, the life cycle is also 10 years, depending on the usage also and the maintenance. As soon as we implement these tools into service, the other tools are taken out of service. They are pretty hard to sell. Most departments, what they do, they donate them to Firefighters Without Borders. And most of them, it goes into like Puerto Cana and all those countries where they will refurbish them and reuse them because their standards are different than ours.
Oh, that's cool. Great.
All right. All those in favor? Thank you. All right, let's move on to 5.6, Building and Planning Quarterly Report. Andrea is not here tonight, and any questions can be fielded through Mark Gagnon. Any questions? Yes. Oh, Randy, you keep moving around on the screen.
Sorry, I'm over here.
Okay, yeah.
Just a quick comment, not a question, Madam Mayor. I was going to say it's
Okay.
really nice to see the 10 new building permits that have been issued, and that the building boom is continuing to bolster our community and the great effects that that'll have on our economy.
It's good. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. Let's move on to correspondence. So we all received an email from Mario McLean, who's a third-year Laurentian University student, asking us for support, of course, in their what feels like never-ending battle with the bankruptcy declaration. We don't need to do anything because we've already passed a resolution and we've already sent letters to the Premier and Minister Romano. So I corresponded with Mario to let him know we had already done that, and Mel followed it up by sending him a copy of the resolution and the letter. So this is more for information than anything else. So, and the battle continues at Laurentian, and that's all I'm going to say on that. So let's move on to the consent agenda. So I need a resolution to adopt the items contained in the consent agenda. Rick and Dean. All those in favor? Thank you. And there are no notices of motion. Announcement and inquiries. Just want to remind everybody, tomorrow it's the food bank is open between 9:30 and 11 for those that wish to pick up, and you can still get deliveries if you call first thing tomorrow morning at the municipal office. So that's all. And there is no closed session. And so I need a resolution to adopt the confirmation bylaw. So moved by Bob and seconded by Renee.
Duly moved and seconded, be it resolved that bylaw 2021-29, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at a meeting held on April 21st, 2021, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Need a resolution to adjourn? Oh,
Madam
sorry,
Mayor,
Dean. Sure.
Just a question that I have, I guess probably for Dave. When are we having a Public Works Committee meeting? Is there any idea of a date for that?
Dave?
I have no idea, actually.
Pardon me, Madam
Yeah,
Mayor?
Mark?
Yeah, we're slowly trying to activate a lot of our committees, Dean. We initially got the environmental services going. We're currently working on the Rec and Culture Committee to start this month. And the next two that we need to work on is Public Works and Economic Development. So I will be in touch with the chairs over the next week or so in terms of potential dates in June that we can look at.
Thank you.
Welcome. So I need a resolution to adjourn. Moved by Dave and seconded by Rick. All those in favor? Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody. Merci tout le monde pour une bonne soirée. And our next meeting is the first Wednesday in the month of May. And so thank you to all the staff for all your reports. They were great and very informative. So good night, everybody, and à la prochaine.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bonsoir.
Good night.
Night.